My name's Paul Hartigan. I'm known as, I'm often called a multimedia artist. That's a sort of fairly new term, but traditionally I'm a painter, printmaker. Those are my old school clothes, but these days I'm probably known more for neon more for my neon works than those other things. Originally I started out from a painting position, painting essentially comics actually. As a kid I read a lot of comics. My favourite comics were Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge from the Disney department, and but I really was very drawn to the Phantom for some reason. The sort of crudely printed covers often had these sort of elements of misprinting, and things got out of register, and what we call the sort of the happy accidents of printing, or the bleeding line, little halos created through printing accidents, and I used to study these. Later I emulated those aspects of the misprint. It translated its way into my painting, initially by way of letting the paint run, or letting the paint medium dribble. It was a fascination with the medium itself. Enamel paint is such a beautiful medium, that sort of creamy, slightly solid liquid, a little bit like the way you have enjoyment of putting cream onto a scone. That same sort of sensuous kind of quality. I actually ended up making a study of neon signs, and I decided, as well as this kind of small thesis that I did, that I would do this thing called, well, a virtual tour of neon signs around Auckland, which is quite an interesting thing in itself. So kind of took the whole artistry group around. We started at the bottom of Queen Street and ended up in Newmarket, and I identified all these signs and I'd written about them, and through that kind of looking and investigation, I became very sort of intrigued and kind of hooked on the whole neon thing, and the sort of link between neon and kind of neon phosphors and illumination, and the kind of the glow on neon, the glow into the night, and that evident sort of that beautiful sort of phosphorescence kind of made me think about the link between that and the kind of the strange sort of printed sort of aura, offset sort of bleed of early printed images. Anyway, I kind of found that within 10 years of leaving art school, that I wasn't moving away from painting, but concurrently I was sort of started to adapt my comic line to a kind of a neon line, and basically the opportunity, the moment, the sort of seize the moment of opportunity that I saw was to be able to draw with a graphic line which was also coloured, that emitted an aura all in one. So that's kind of the crux of it, really. It was quite a breakthrough. So you know, rather than doing the black line and kind of filling in with colour, I was sort of drawing with line which was coloured at the same time, and it was quite a revelation, really, quite a breakthrough for me. What I realised after about 30 years was that my work, in a way, is a synthesis of traditional kind of figurative drawing, classical drawing, if you like. I'm no classical drawer, but you know, But figuration, if you like, the abstract line, or the gesture, and title or text. Text and titles are an intrinsic part of my work. They're like another colour, another layer. That's always been the case. As I've gone on with my work, the figurative or the semi-figurative descriptive line, something that describes something not literally but evokes, that looks like to one person this and perhaps to another that. The gestural act of creating a line, the physical making of art. With any art making, there's a physical act, and within that physical act, an intellectual act, and there's always thinking whenever you're doing the most basic thing, like paint application, whether you're painting the fence, or you're painting a painting, or whatever you're doing. And then of course you inevitably are thinking about the whole process, and you're thinking about the title and what it is you're representing. But getting back to the crux here, so what happened for me is that all those things, that line became a kind of a descriptive line, an amalgam, as I say, of figurative depiction, text, and gestural abstraction, with a dash of surrealism thrown in there as well.